Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Launch Sequence podcast. This week with episode 21. And this week I'm bringing in, for those of you who are watching at least, it looks like my friend Jon's dog. It might be a bit weird. As you can see, there is an actual human behind that picture, so we will be talking to Jon himself. He's a member of the community, though, a member of the Orga, a pretty good friend. He's been on the stream a few times, and actually one of the older members in our org, and I wanted to bring him in today, talk to him about Star Citizen, how he got into it, and CitizenCon, of course. So, without further ado, Jon, thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Glad you asked.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. How is it out there in England? Is it already getting cold and rainy, or that's year round, huh, for you guys?
No,
No?
I've actually got a convertible.
Oh, Jon with I wouldn't have guessed that. That's what we should have put up as the picture. You in the convertible, man.
I've got a mini convertible, and the roof is down quite often.
Okay, nice. I like that. I like that energy. That's good. Okay, cool. I know I picked the right Jon. Well, Jon, for everybody who's here, the main question I think most people are going to ask right away when I say you're one of the older members in the org is how old are you, actually, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm actually 70 years of age, and I'm quite proud to have how my life was when I was younger. I'm quite proud to have reached this level.
Yeah, that's good. And
Yeah,
it's gotta be nice to be happy with what you've done with your life, and of course what you're still doing with it, which is playing Star Citizen. It couldn't be any better, right?
I could win the lottery. Is it tonight or tomorrow night? The lottery comes, the Euro lottery.
That there is the lottery. That could be better.
Yes. Do you know how much it is tonight?
I don't follow it at all.
184 million euros for the
Ooh.
winner.
Oh man, that's like half a Star Citizen. Or half a Star Citizen Alpha, rather. Wow, that's a lot though.
Yes.
Good luck to whoever ends up winning that. I honestly don't think I'd be able to mentally handle coming across even half that much money all at once.
Oh, I don't know. You never dream.
No, of course I dream, but there's always a difference. What is it? There's a Batman. The Joker in the Batman movie talks about the dog chasing, I think, the mailman or something like that. He's always chasing it and always excited, but then he gets a hold of it and he doesn't know what to do. And that's how I feel like I'd be. I'd be like, oh, all this money, and then I'd get it, and I'd be like, well, what do I do?
Not a lot different from what I'm doing now, to be honest with you, except I'd live it. I wouldn't be in sheltered accommodation anymore. I'd buy my own place.
Well, that's good, man. That's honestly, that's simple. That's probably the best thing to do. Most people have some crazy grandeur they want to get into that ends up derailing your life, and it's nice to keep it simple.
I've done all those silly things in the past, so
right.
I'm quite happy with my life as it is, and my family would be well looked after. Good. And I might even invest in Star Citizen if I won as well.
I haven't done all of that stuff in my life yet, so I'm in danger of wasting all that money. It's better to go to you. But Jon, since I've got you here, I wanna talk about gaming, and I think you have a perspective that a lot of people who play Star Citizen and even are listening to this podcast maybe don't. That's like a longer history with gaming. Now, Star Citizen has a higher average age. Actually, in fact, hold on one second. Let me show you here. I've got this actually already pulled up. So I'm pulling onto the screen for anybody who is watching the podcast can catch this. And you can see that the average age is actually
quite low.
Yeah, it's fairly similar. This is the analytics of my own YouTube channel. So what we're seeing here is that there are here's the percentages. 0.7% of viewers are 13 to 17. 18.1%, or rather 18.2% are 18 to 24. 43.6%, no, I'm sorry, 38.6% are 25 to 34. 24.6% are 35 to 44. 12.8% are 45 to 54, 3.6 are 55 to 64, and 1.5% are 65 plus. So interestingly, actually, you get more people watching 65 plus than 13 to 17.
I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us, a lot of people well over 50 and over, just in this org alone.
That's true.
I think the numbers are quite low, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's possible that the people who watch my content aren't actually playing as much, and we're seeing the younger people who
it's
aren't
just watching
Yeah, this is
content.
YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
But it is, I think it's interesting to see the spread of people who are playing the game. And obviously, you sit in a category that's well, practically the 1%ers, we'll say here. So you've got a very unique take on it, I think. When did you start gaming?
Many, many years ago. If you class gaming as like a bit of gambling, in the cafe in England, they used to have what they class bingo machines. That it'd be like a pinball, but the deck would have holes in 1 to 25, and then on the screen in front of you, the numbers they're always in the same place. What you got to do is get 3 in a line, 4 in a line, 5 in a line, to get extra games, and then once you got over a certain amount of games, you could cash them in. So basically, that is a form of gaming, and I was a teenager back then when I did that.
So that was back in the day.
Yes.
So when did it start to go from your just kind of like, I guess, when did you start to feel like games turned towards what we see now in Star Citizen, more immersive, more focused on like giving you this realistic experience as opposed to just kind of giving you some fun to play with? Did you notice a trend change at any point?
I should imagine when Diablo first came out.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it was a platform game as such, but it was still an adventure game, and there was different orgs in that as well. So that was when I first got into an organisation in gaming, and from there that progressed to things like Command and Conquer and things like that.
Love that game. I got in on the earlier or the later side of the franchise when it was starting to lose some of its steam, but I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, basically, the eldest son lived next door to us, so he'd got a computer. There was a computer in each bedroom in our house, so everybody used to come round weekends, and we'd all be networked up. And as you know, with Command and Conquer, you could actually fight against each other. So that was like group gaming to start off with. But that'd be an all weekend thing, almost every weekend.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's interesting how much things changed when internet started to be a thing, and like I'm guessing gaming before then, I didn't really get to do much multiplayer. I didn't do the LAN parties. You're bringing over, Ethernet cables, connecting up PCs and playing multiplayer together. I started with internet gaming, so it's interesting to hear the experience of playing in a multiplayer scenario back then.
Yeah, what internet did you have when you started playing?
Oh, geez, like who was the provider?
No, what speed?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I have no idea. I was probably 8-9 years old.
Well, you imagine, because back in the day it was all dial up.
Yeah.
So
Nothing
you
compared to
went
today.
through a simple modem, and then you dialed up and joined it, and you were charged per minute. So this is why people used to play from midnight till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. These are a little cheaper, the rates.
Oh yeah, the rates were a lot cheaper.
Gotcha. Did you play Wing Commander or the Freelancer game?
No, I didn't.
No. Okay. So you jumped into Star Citizen without the previous Chris Roberts games in your back pocket.
Yes, I got into Star Citizen via World of Warships, to be honest with you.
And how did that happen?
I know it seems unusual to come from there, but some of the friends I played with in World of Warships disappeared for a while, came back and said, there was a couple of us there said, "You've got to come and try this game." So I had a look at it, and I think you and Board Gamer were the first two who popped up on YouTube.
Oh.
And had a look through. So, and
That's
that's
cool.
not trying to creep or anything. That's just the way it happened because I'd never heard of you either then
Yeah.
either. So
That's
and I thought,
I like that I'm glad that happens. Thank you, YouTube.
and I saw it. I got a starter pack, and I don't really play. When I get a little bit bored with this, I've got Diablo 2 Resurrected. I've still got the Diablo 3 and everything. I'm waiting for Diablo 4 to come out. What is it? The Grim something I play as well. That's off Steam, but we won't advertise them anymore. And yeah, they're very similar to what Diablo turned into. So it's.
And what kind of game is Diablo? I've actually not played it before. Shame on me.
You've never played Diablo?
No, I have not. We had it sitting on our desk as a kid, but I always was picking between Diablo or StarCraft. You know, we had the Blizzard choices, and I always went with StarCraft.
Well, yeah, but, Warcraft actually started off StarCraft. Warcraft was a very good one, but Diablo, the original one, was like a platform one. You started at level 1, went into a church, cleared level 1, go down to level 2, and so on.
Oh, okay.
And you build your character that way. And there was a baddie on a real big baddie on level 16 where you used to get real good stuff from. And then Diablo himself was on level 20. But you had normal, nightmare, and hell
Those are the
versions of it.
difficulties. Okay.
Those were the difficulties. So basically, once you've got a decent character, you just go straight into hell, take the shortcut down to level 16, kill Lazarus, get all his booty, come out, start another game, so you could find the real good items for whichever character you were playing.
Were you doing speed runs?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. That's good. That's good fun. So would you consider that to be, it sounds like you like the Diablo series a lot. Is that one of the best games you've ever played? Where does that sit, would you say? After all this history playing games?
Well, it's I should imagine my top 3 names are Diablo, Command and Conquer, and Star Citizen. Even though World of Warships and World of Tanks are there or thereabouts, they're not as much as what those 3 are.
But you'd already put Star Citizen up there.
Oh yeah.
And why is that?
It's not just the game. But we was having quite a good chat in GII earlier. There was about 5 or 6 of us, on the topic of conversation. It went from the selfies we'd put in the video channel to breakfast cereals, and then to a very serious subject concerning one of our members. You know, what's happened to him, and why he's retired now. You know, so it's that sort of thing, which also the community also helps the game, in my opinion.
Definitely.
And that's why I felt at home since I've joined this org, to be honest with you.
That's a good point. Star Citizen might not be a complete game, but it has the makings of a complete community. And anybody who plays a big, popular, famous game knows that the community is a big part of the health of the game itself. Yes. And I don't think I've never really been involved in an online game or an MMO or even an online game community so much, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about a gaming community quite like I've seen the Star Citizen community, embracing newcomers, helping people who are confused. sometimes vehemently defending the game, but overall just being very kind and accepting and open to newcomers, and to the people who also love Star Citizen. It's just very much passion project from the developers all the way to the people who are playing the game.
And what I would like to add to that, a lot of us don't feel the need to defend the game because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually quite playable in its own format as it is now with a lot of the different things they put in.
Mm-hmm.
But those who come into the normal chat when you're playing the game and they're saying this and that about it, I just ignore them
Yeah,
and press F12.
yeah. There's a pretty big habit of people airing all of their frustrations in the global chat, even if those frustrations don't necessarily have anything to do with what's going on at that moment. People will just
Yes.
come in there and use it kind of as their way to express how they feel about Star Citizen, which can definitely it can get a little tiresome. But I do feel sometimes people can get a little bit, and like you said, it's not everybody. Some people can get quite defensive, and I think that's always been one of the reputations that sits with Star Citizen's community because of certain things that have happened in the past. But one thing that has always trumped that for me is that above nothing else, this community is kind, and I really hope that
Yes.
always remains.
I can't see it yet. With the player base, the main player base, which has put quite a bit into the game itself,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the base of the players is going to change that much.
Right.
Yes, you're going to get the few idiots who come in who want to be griefers. It's like pirates. I don't mind pirates, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the griefers. Uh, I'll land and just change server if there's too many of them
Sure.
on the
Yeah.
one server,
Yeah.
which makes it easy for everybody.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's gonna always be those folks, but like you said, yeah, I think the core will stick around and really help to shape this game. We did this core definitely, or this game definitely has its core at this point,
Yes.
um, and it's really nice to see the way that it's building, or at least the way the community and that core is building. Those friends that you said originally went away from the ship game that you guys were
The
playing,
warships.
yeah, do you still play with them?
Well, they actually pop in there and again. I've still got them on my friends list,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they're waiting for what they class as more gameplay.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, I'm lucky. As you said earlier, I do like to mine.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. That is my thing. But I also like to explore and do trading. And even though trading's not as good as it used to be, from what I can gather, so
Mm-hmm.
I only started playing January, so I missed the big trading
Yeah, you missed the
rush.
good times.
But you can still make a profit just by flying around. Because I've got a C2,
Mm-hmm.
so I can fly around in the C2, fill up with scrap at a spaceport, fly to somewhere else, in 10, 15 minutes, make 20, 25,000
Yeah,
once I've sold everything.
yeah.
And that's nothing to be sneezed at. But if I really need money, I'll jump in the prospector and go out in the belt and mine,
Mm-hmm.
which is so peaceful, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And even if you don't get to start out with those ships, you jumped in for $45, you join an org, you find some friends, and those kinds of ships are available to you. That kind of gameplay is available to
Yes.
you in no time. And like you just said, once you're there, once you're into this game, once you understand it, it's really not that hard to start earning money and finding a kind of a flow to go to. It doesn't feel too grindy yet. Doesn't feel like you're really just doing stuff just to get by. It's actually kind of fun at times when you're not running into glitches and crashes.
Yeah, it's like, as you say, if you join a decent org, that quite a few of the org members have got moles anyway, and
Mm-hmm.
they're always looking for crew. And they will take new players on and show them how to do it.
Yeah.
I'll take players out, when I had loads of money in the game, because I'm actually looking forward to the wipe to
Mm-hmm.
be able to start again,
Yeah.
because I've now got what I class as a good base for me to start with. I've spent a little bit more than just the starter pack, but not as much as quite a few others.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have the Prospector, the Taurus, and the C52. Prospector I can start making money straight away with.
Yep.
The Taurus I'll use as just to ferry me refinery stuff about, or if I, as a daily driver, the C2, that will be me cargo ship. So I'm sorted.
Yeah, you're set. And you're going to be able to, with those 3 ships, you could basically earn anything in game you wanted to.
Yeah.
I'll run with you, man.
And it's quite easy. It's like Execute. He sent me a graph from somebody had put up the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a full crew in the mole and a couple of scouts, and how they would split it. Well, the first problem I saw with the graph was that they'd got it at the highest price Quantanium sold for. So I just sent a message back and said, well, what you've got to take into account is the more people who do Quantanium mining, the prices drop down.
Mm-hmm.
So then you've got to take that into account. He goes, right, I'll get back to him so he can readjust his graph.
The logistics, that's just a small peak, just lifting the sheet of paper a little bit to look underneath it. How crazy logistics are going to be in this game.
Yeah, well, it is. Because I've been playing a lot of the PTU.
Mm-hmm.
Just flying around, so I can see where things are going to be sold for, where you can buy different things to upgrade your ships, like the quantum drives, lasers for the miners, and you'll never guess in a million years what I found out. Because to me, the Lancet is the best laser for the prospector.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Port Olisar, PO, buy a couple of Lancets, buy 3 or 4 surges, which is the modules you put to them,
Mm-hmm.
and you can put those in your backpack and carry them back to your prospector. Put them in the space station where the prospector is, then fit them without taking the prospector all over the area.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking something similar to that the other day. Is like, you can have the place that you like to mine that you'll always go back to mine, and instead of constantly retrieving and getting your ship and going to different places, your ship can always just be at the closest space station to there, and you just never take your prospector anywhere else. You just always fly there, grab your ship, and go mining.
Well, I will have 2 prospectors when this patch comes live.
Well, look at you.
I bought the I can't pronounce it properly. The Entrepreneur. What is it?
The Orion?
ENTREPRENEUR.
PNERE.
And how do you pronounce that word? Entrepreneur.
Intrepid? I don't know. I don't know which.
It's not it's UR on the end, and I always have trouble with that.
That's a ship?
That's the one. Hang on a minute. Say that loud into the mic. Just into the mic.
Entrepreneur. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Entrepreneur.
I told you she'd come in handy.
Mrs. Jon CItizen always helping. Mm-hmm.
I bought that pack. It gives you the Prospector, the Vulcan, the Vulture, Hull B, and a Ursa Rover.
Okay. Gotcha.
All with LTI and Squadron 42.
Oh, so you're set.
Yeah.
You're gonna be you've got the cargo you need, the mining you need. See, I'm gonna work my way up in that. I'm actually more of an exploration person, so I won't ever really
salvage I need.
Oh yeah. Got the salvage as well. Well, that's a good setup, man.
And the Vulcan is repair, refuel, and rearm.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much it will carry. So engineering, which is my part of the org I'm in.
Yeah.
I've got it covered.
Yeah.
Well,
you're gonna take charge on that? No, you're gonna handle the whole. You're gonna be the go-to engineering person for GII. The head of engineering.
There's a few of them already in there anyway, but
okay. Not gonna.
I just enjoy that part of it, and that's what it's all about. It's so immersive.
Well, that's a good point. So, you talked about the community being something that really keeps you in this game. What else about the game itself has drawn you in, or made you interested in this, or maybe caught your eye that first time you were introduced to it?
Well, But the detail that they've got it. People are knocking it because it's taking so long to get a full game version out. But if people actually came into the game, bought the cheapest package they could, just to come in and have a look. You stand in the lifts while you're moving up and down between floors or going down to whichever pad your ship's on. You look at the screw heads in the lift, you can see Phillips screwdriver, which is a posi drive for Americans. You can see where they use an Allen key. The detail of the game is unbelievable.
It is, yeah. They really build a lot in.
You go to a lot of the moons and you get a ground vehicle. It's like they're doing the Daymar Rally beginning of the year. But just driving about and, we go up the mountains and some of the views, it's I've got a view on, because I've got a 34-inch widescreen. You're on me 22-inch secondary monitor, so don't feel bad about that. But Diane walked in the other day and she thought it was a real world I was looking at.
Yeah.
That's how realistic it can look.
It'd be like that sometimes. It does. There have been times where I've seen pictures of this game and I'm like, wait, is it though? There have been times when I've seen pictures not of this game and I've been like, is that a screenshot?
Is that a screenshot? Have they photoshopped it or what? But they don't need to.
The detail, not only in the environments, but also in the actions and the gameplay. Like the idea, the fact that you're going to be able to physically take and remove the attachments from your gun with your hands, with the animations built in. The fact that we have a medical system that depends on
I'll let mine in a bit.
Sorry?
Sorry about that.
Oh, no,
it's all right. She was saying food's nearly ready.
Oh, okay. The idea that we have this medical system that depends on drugs that, yes, help you, but also have a blood drug level that can incapacitate you or make things harder for you to do. It's just the detail that's built into all of these systems it's a cascading effect, I think, and it really starts to make a big difference.
It's going to react like true life. If you're in a situation like that, you could get hurt, and you need the medics to come in and repair you, basically. But it is immersive. Doesn't seem a good enough word to use for what it's like being in the game. There's 4 or 5 of you. You're out doing whatever you're doing, and it can be so lifelike.
Yeah, people keep saying it feels more like a project than a game. One of our recent episodes, we had the team behind the Adrift Machinima series on here, and they were talking about how Star Citizen really presents a tool for people like themselves who maybe work in a different industry but can come into this game and do different things in a digital space that other places don't really provide. And that's great, and it's powerful for those people, but for people like us who are just playing this as a game, I think it's often overlooked how in-depth it gets, and the idea of calling it immersion, again, sometimes can be a little eye-rolling for some people. You tell somebody, hey, this game is so immersive, hey, this game has NPCs that do this and do that, and people will just kind of, you've heard that before. It's hard to explain it with Star Citizen, though.
The only way you can explain it is by it. If it's a close family or a close friend, buy them a cheap pack and say, look, go in and have a look yourself and let me know what you think about it.
Or the starter, or the free fly weeks.
Yeah.
Are a good chance. Free fly weeks are actually a great chance to jump in and start the game as a whole, but also to join the group, the org that we've been talking about, and just get a chance to play with a bunch of people who can show you the game and know the game. John, as a member of GII, what do you think of it so far?
I think it's excellent. This is not the first org I've been in Star Citizen. I was in a slightly bigger org when I first came in, because the friends I joined with were in that org.
Okay.
It was okay to start off with, but then the org leader got a bit wild. I won't mention his name because that's not fair, but I think you know who I'm talking about. And it's smashing lad, but goes a bit crazy and ends up in prison every time he streams.
Yeah, sometimes people can't help it.
But some of the friends I made in that org have actually joined this one now.
Oh, well, we're happy to have them.
Yeah, and they're happy to be here when they're able to get in. Because real life does get in the way for a lot of people if they're not retired.
Yeah.
Talking about me again, because I can play whenever I like. Because my dearly beloved here sat beside me is quite happy with me just whiling my time away here.
Well, like you said, it's quite pretty to watch.
Yes. And before, because a few of us left that one org and made our own, and I used to have a separate mic with speakers, and she would actually join in the conversation as well.
Oh, I should go back to that. You should do that again.
But I've still told her you want to take her out into Star Citizen on a newbie Star Citizen stream.
I think people would love that.
She's just run into the kitchen now when I've said that.
Getting away.
Yeah.
But so, being in the org, what are some of the things that you're hoping to be able to do playing with an org? I mean, obviously, people join an org just to have people to play with, but we're all thinking about the future and big battles or maybe logistics or trading and stuff like that. What are some of the things that you're excited to do with an org?
Well, the thing is that when the game allows it to have those big battles, you're going to need people like me. I do like to get involved with the battles as well. I don't do bounty hunting because I'm not a good bounty hunter or anything like that. I think I said to you yesterday, if I want to kill somebody, I'd rather go into Diablo where you've got a sword or a crossbow or things like that, and I'm good with that. This is why I don't think I've ever got into flight simulators and that sort of thing. I've never been good at the flying part of it.
Okay, yeah. I'm not very good at flying either, honestly.
But so I still use a mouse and keyboard. I'm old fashioned. I don't go for the joystick and HOTAS, which a lot of people do. But with the mining, exploring, and trading, that's I am blowing my own trumpet. I am good at that. And I like to when we get new ones come in and they want to try it. As you know, I'll take them out, show them what I know, and then tell them, look, you can play about with all the other different things. Maybe you'll find a better way of doing it or a way you prefer to do it. Because there's no hard and fast rules to this game.
No,
there's
not.
So many different variations you can do that everybody will find their own way. But I think everybody just needs that little head start to start off with. And I as I said just before we started this, there was 4 of us doing bunker missions, in the PTU, and I ended up in prison because I shot a good guy instead of a bad guy.
Yep, as we do.
As we do.
You make a good point.
He was shooting Grizz at the time, so I thought he was a baddie.
Oh yeah, probably deserved to die. You make a good point though. The org thing generally is something that I tell people, consider doing this when you jump into the game. But right now, there's not really a new player experience, or at least it's not very good. And to be honest, there are obviously a large amount of people who would be fine playing this solo and getting up to speed solo, but jumping in with an org or at least with a group of people who can help you out with the questions that you have right on the spot makes things way faster. I've played with people who have been playing for a few weeks and they have a grip of the game, but they've expressed that having somebody else who's there to answer those questions is so much easier because when you're playing Star Citizen, everything comes up. You always have something little to ask.
Yeah, so, it's like with the mining and trading, I can answer most questions for them, an exploration. But with the bounty, we'd call in Nabucco or somebody like that, who they are bounty hunters. They're part of the security anyway. And that's what I like. I play all different hours. Yeah, I can play till 4 o'clock in the morning, or I can, once I finish walking the dog, I can start playing at midday my time, And there's normally one or two people floating about at all times in this org.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so pleasant.
Yeah.
You're not just sat there on your own, glued to a screen doing everything. Yeah, you're having a laugh and a joke with the other guys as well. And say, oh, do you fancy doing so? Because yeah, okay. Go and get a couple of ground vehicles and just race around the moon and see who can get the highest, jump off the highest point and land on 4 wheels still.
See who blows up last. But yeah, the GII has, since, we started this organ, I want to say February, March of 2021, and since probably May or...
You're joking. I thought you'd been going longer than that.
No, we just started this year. We're still kind of getting up and running, still setting up systems and stuff, but that's why obviously there's still plenty of things changing and things feel like they're still getting just started. But I would say ever since maybe June or May, it's been pretty regular. People have been in there playing, and we always get a good diverse group of people because we have the 3 divisions: security, science, and industry, and a lot of people around the world who just are looking for other people to join them on their adventures. And I think that's all a lot of people are really looking for in Star Citizen. It's other people to play with.
Yes, but it's the right people to play with that actually makes the game much more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what did you think of CitizenCon last week? It's a big topic.
It is a bit. I enjoyed it, but I was also a little disappointed as well because I didn't think they covered as much as they could have done.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they were holding back because is IAE or whatever it's called coming up soon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got something coming up next month.
I don't know if they were holding things back for that.
That's usually a more ship-focused event. So maybe they might hold stuff back in terms of like, we'll probably see a ship that they could have shown at CitizenCon, but they'll most likely reveal it at IAE, maybe make it straight to flyable. So definitely on the ship side, yeah. They probably held some stuff. Is this your first CitizenCon?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So you're going off of mostly what people have talked about and maybe seeing some of the older ones on YouTube?
Yes, I've sort of skipped through a few older ones on YouTube because some of them are quite long and they can be a bit boring if it's past news, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
it's
like stuff you know.
I was on your stream. I was on your stream almost all the way through it. Which but I think you made it a little bit better with your comments and losing your in as well, because that actually was going on in. I think it was quite a boring part of CitizenCon, really.
Okay.
And you actually brightened up the whole thing for me, and I think it brightened it up for quite a few people because hitches in anything always make people smile anyway.
Well, I'm glad somebody is.
I know it didn't make you smile too much because it was you doing it, but it's like if you're walking down the street. I'm at that age now. If I fall over, people don't laugh anymore. They run over to see if I'm all right.
Yeah.
Right. A few years back, people would be laughing because I tripped over a curb or something.
Oh boy!
But nowadays, they because as you get older, this is when you know you're getting older.
Mm-hmm.
People don't laugh when you fall over anymore. They come over to make sure you're okay.
Okay. I think there should always be some minimum. They should be like, okay, that person really, they just face planted. I should check on them. But I get what you mean. I get what you're saying. As long as it's, it doesn't lessen the experience of the stream, I'm there to make the best experience for the people watching. So if you enjoyed it, then it sounds like my job was done.
It didn't lessen it. It actually added to it. And because you were trying to come in with a few comments because you didn't agree with some of the things which were being said or shown at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the majority of us watching were agreeing with you because I noticed that the comments suddenly come in over that period about what was going on in the stream at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was offhand, to be honest with you. That's the problem of getting older, isn't it?
Oh no, I have that problem too. I don't. It was well, I have a lot to say about CitizenCon, and I have videos coming out, so I'll continue to hear what you thought. Besides the stream itself, maybe let's focus on the gameplay demo, them going into Pyro. In terms of,
Well, yes, I would have liked more of
yeah,
that, to be honest with you. That is what I was looking big exploration and mining, going into Pyro. This is where a decent org is going to come into play for real, because you're not going to go in there on your own. You want to go, if you're going to go mining or exploring, you want escorts to go with you as well.
absolutely.
And this, I would have liked to have seen more of Pyro, but that's what a Citizen Con to me is all about. They show you teasers. It's like if you watch a film trailer,
Yeah,
you might get the bare minimum of what the film is going to be about. But if they show too much, it's not worthwhile going to see the film, is it?
yeah. And, also they're just not done with all of it. So I mean, they'll show us, oh yeah, look, here's an NPC patrol getting distracted by somebody throwing a can, but we're not gonna like sit and dwell on that and talk more about it because that's basically all that's actually working. So agreed. It's kind of it's a teaser for what's coming ahead. That's for sure. Do you feel like you're excited for what they teased? You said you wanted more, but in terms of what they actually did show, did that feel adequate?
No, it did. Well,
No.
when you see a good trailer for a film, you always want that little bit. You're sort of not on your edge of your seat, but you're thinking, "Oh, I could have done with a bit more." You're happy with what's shown, but I think it's human nature. You always want that little bit more. You want them to show a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I am quite excited for when another verse opens up. And it's because Stanton I think has spoiled us all really for what the game is about to become, because there is so many landing platforms in Stanton.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To start off with, then when we go to Pyro, I think one of the main ones is going to be held by, is it Nine Tails or the Xeno threat?
Yeah.
And then it's, what are you going to do if you have to land there? You need escorts to make sure you can land and take off safely.
Yeah.
So the imagination works wonders for you when they only show you little bits, doesn't it?
It does. And some of that stuff that you're talking about is, I think, some of the stuff that people were kind of like, why didn't we hear more about that? The gameplay implications of the things they were talking about when it came to Pyro and the things coming with it. I think that might be...
I think they've leaked enough to let us know what Pyro is going to be an outlaw universe, I believe.
Yeah.
So, but if you can go in there strong enough and take over part of it and protect it, I think that's going to be an ideal gameplay for an org.
Oh, definitely. But again, we don't know if that's a thing.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of what's coming, because we could hope what's coming, and 9 times out of 10, what they turn up with is better than what we hope for at times. It's like homesteads. What's going to happen to your homestead if you've got to log off and go and deal with real life?
Yeah.
Are you going to have NPCs patrolling it and protecting it, or what? We don't know, do we?
Yeah, that's going to be a whole different section of the game when it comes to base building and things like that. A lot. Definitely a lot. More realistically speaking, what is something, maybe, let's say anything really, but realistic, that you would like to see in the next 1 or 2 year that maybe we didn't see at CitizenCon, or we have seen before but they haven't talked too much about? I will disqualify server meshing because that's too easy. I want to really hear what you want to see. But what's something you're interested in getting in the game?
Well, basically, I've already said it. It's actually having another universe where we can go in and take over our little part of it, and control it as an org. That is something I'm really looking forward to doing, because security is going to go in first. then engineering, then the medical side has got to come in as well. You've got to have medical with security because you never know what you're going to run into.
Sure.
So it's all the gameplays wrapped up in one move, really. And I'm really looking forward to see how that's going to work in the future, where you have security, medical, and engineering and exploration all moving into a brand new place, basically.
Yeah.
It'd be like moving home.
It will be
stressful, but looking forward to it as well.
just I'll let you in on a little secret. Not much of a secret, actually. It's on our front page. But once the Magnus system comes into the game in Star Citizen, that's where GII is going to be taking some space and making a place for themselves. That's our first home.
You're not going to pick a spot in Pyro.
I mean, we'll do some stuff in Pyro, but
yeah, well, I think our org's strong enough to have a second home as well. You see?
Oh yeah. Well, we've got a lot of systems planned, so we're going to have to pick carefully.
Yeah, well, as I said, I didn't say on here. I think it was in chat that I'm quite happy to go with the flow because I know what I'm good at. I know what I've got to stand back and let other people move in, and I think we've got quite a few players who are like me. They know what they're good at. They can go in and do their thing, and then players like myself can come in afterwards and actually start making things better for the org.
Yeah.
By trading, mining, because eventually everybody in the org. The only way to really build up the org in the game, in my opinion, is to everything you earn, say 10% goes to the org to pay for maybe ships coming in. If we have new players, they can have a loan from the org so they can, say, buy a Cutty Black or a Prospector or a Hurricane.
Yeah.
So they can actually start building up on the gameplay they want. I don't know if you've already thought of this, but it's something I actually saw. I can't remember where I saw it now, to be honest with you.
Well, org taxes are
couple of days.
Org taxes are definitely planned, and they're going to give us the tools to be able to do that kind of stuff, just to keep orgs afloat and make sure that everybody who is participating is actually cares about being there.
I don't think it ought to be called a tax.
No,
we'd all get angry with being taxed.
Well, I think they already call it tax when you transfer money, right?
Well, yeah. The game itself does, but for me, I'd be quite happy 10% of my profits to go to the org if we can build up a system to do that.
Yeah, I think that'll be built in.
Well, I say 10%, whatever.
Oh yeah, we want 50. We're going to take 50% of everything you make.
Have I told you about the org I'm making?
Just came up with the idea. No, we will. I mean, obviously, that'll be something that we figure out in the future. But the power of just Star Citizen itself being so complex, I think, gives a lot of power to the people who are able to organize and do things as a group, as opposed to just kind of throwing out an objective and like 200 people saying, "Okay, well, let's try our best." Being able to actually communicate, like you're saying, and put in effort to do these big things, like take a part of a system or take, maybe just a landing zone or an area on a moon. Those things are going to take a lot of work. So we're going to have strength in having people like you here who are ready to do that.
Well, I'm quite happy doing it. I'll get involved with some of the planning. I don't mind that because I can come up with different ideas if somebody misses anything. But I'm quite happy going in, doing my thing to help, with the rest of my branch, the engineering branch of it, to go in, do the job we've been assigned to do, get that done. And then once we've got it done and settled, then I want to jump into a ship and go exploring.
Yeah.
See what else I can find.
Yeah, go off on your own. Well, Jon, I'm super excited and I've been really pumped to have you on the show. I have one last question that I want to ask you. And that was as you've gotten older and as you said, you've even gotten a little bit more time to play. Has gaming changed for you? Have you felt like as a hobby in your life, it's grown more distant, or you've been able to put more time into it? How do you feel it's changed over time for you?
Well, since I've retired, I've been able to put a lot more time into it. Back in Diablo days, when it first come out, I was lucky. I worked nights, but we
Okay.
worked 9 till 3. 9 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a job and finish. And when I first started there, we could be home for 12:30 at night, right, and still being paid till 3 o'clock. And
Getting
I
paid to play
had the
Diablo.
computer up in the bed, had headphones because the wife worked days then, and I could play, and because she would I'd get her up at 6 o'clock with a cup of tea
Mm-hmm.
and her breakfast, and so she's ready to go to work. And I could play then till 6 o'clock in the morning playing Diablo. I was in an org called Knights of the Forgotten Order, which was an American org,
Mm-hmm.
because even though I was in England still, the time zone I was playing in was American time, basically.
I see.
So, but now being retired, it's given me more time to get into things I really enjoy doing with the
That's cool.
computer. And Star Citizen takes up, I should imagine, 90% of my gaming time, to be honest with you.
Well, people joke all the time about Star Citizen being something they'll do when they retire, but it does seem like the perfect game for that time when you actually have the time to put into it.
Yeah, it's like some games. If you work in some games, you can pick up, do a certain thing, put it back down, and walk away from it. With
Mm-hmm.
Star Citizen, it does take time. It Classic example: go out the prospector from RKL1 out to the belt. You can easily, if you're lucky, you can do 3 trips an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But if it takes you a bit longer to find a decent rock to split, you might only do 2 an hour. But
Yeah.
you're talking about an hour that's flying out, flying back, flying out, flying back, then refining. Then the next, I always try and do 4 or 5 trips during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just have them refining. So the next day when I come in, first thing I do, check that it's all finished refining, load it into a cargo ship, take it down, sell it, come back, do a couple of mining trips. People are online, they said, oh, we're going to go over to so-so. I goes, okay, then send a party invite. Go off and do something else. So you never actually get bored with your trade, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you do it, leave it alone, go off with it, and shenanigans is what a few of them call it. We go off and do shenanigans,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite legal, because the one thing I do like about the org, they don't allow pirating or griefing of any sort.
Well,
And
we do, as long as it's not affecting other people. It's certainly not
yeah,
part of the rules, and as long as you're not doing it in the org and you're not affecting other people, you can enjoy what the alpha has to offer. But yeah, it's generally our org is non-piracy. And definitely no griefing.
Pirating, the proper pirating, yeah, I'm quite happy to see that in game, because
Mm-hmm.
it's all part of the risk of going out and working and whatever, because you can get mugged on the way home in real life.
Yeah.
So pirating in the game is part of the immersion as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the griefing I don't like, when people are just, say, sat outside Port Hollis there, they see a ship spawn on a pad and they blow it up. To me, that's just childish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not getting anything from that.
No, they're not getting nothing from that, because they're not saying, oh yeah, I'm a better pilot, I managed to blow you up.
Yeah,
They're just I won't say what I'm thinking, but
they're just blowing up parked ships. There's no point to it.
Yeah.
But the game, the time investment, and the way that it can take your time, I think lends itself very nice to people who are either, I mean, even during COVID, a lot of people not working, or during retirement when you're not really on the job. And good on you, Star Citizen, because you take a lot of time just to wait for, anyways.
Yes.
But
And it's not really a waste, though, is it? It's It's like picking up because I read a lot as well.
mm-hmm.
It's like picking up a good book. You can spend 2 or 3 hours in that book quite easily, and it's like Star City. You can spend 2 or 3 hours on it. Some mornings I turn around, and look at the clock, and I think I should have gone to bed an hour or two ago.
Yeah. There's a couple games that do that for me. But yeah, Star Citizen will eat your time, definitely.
This is not the first game which has done that to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Command and Conquer, which your eyes lit up when I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah,
So that one was a great game as well.
Yeah, it is. Well, John, we're coming up here on the hour, and we've got some great conversation about Star Citizen. I've had a blast, though. Thank you so much for coming on here, giving people a little bit of a different perspective of the game than I think a lot of people get, and generally giving some of your feedback on everything that we've seen in the last couple months, really. Anything?
It was easy.
Yeah, you enjoyed it?
I didn't realize we'd been here an hour, to be honest with you. It's flown by.
Goes by like nothing.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm glad you had fun, man. We could do this again sometime.
I did. Okay, well, thank you very much, and for inviting me on. And I hope people who listen to it enjoy it as much as I did talking about it.
Oh, I think they will. We have a lot of great viewers. We have some people here listening live, supporters, patrons, in fact, always are able to come in here and listen to the podcast live while also chatting with us and asking questions while we're here. So if you would like to be able to do that, or if you even would just like to support this podcast, the YouTube stuff that I make, and everything else, I try to make this podcast ad-free on all of the audio platforms. And the people who are supporting me on Patreon are helping me to do that without adding ads. So thank you so much for anybody who's willing to do that. But otherwise, please join us on Discord so you can chat about this game, maybe get into it a little bit more, and possibly even join us on the podcast someday. But I'd like to thank everybody who's listening live. Thank everybody who is listening or watching on YouTube or Spotify or wherever that may be. I hope you leave a review, possibly give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. And I'd like to thank Jon most of all for being here. Thank you so much, man. Once again.
It was my pleasure.
Great.
And it was a lot easier than what I thought it was going to be honest with you.
Oh, your dog looks happy as well. Satisfied with the episode.
She's fast asleep on the settee next to Diane at the moment now.
Well, glad she's comfy. Anyways, everybody. Go ahead.
Go on, carry on. That's it. Now, I'll say cheerio to everybody then, and be quiet, and I'll mute my mic while you finish up.
All right, well, anyway, everybody, thank you so much again for being here. This has been episode 21 of the Launch Sequence Podcast. We'll see you again next week for some more Star Citizen talk. Thank you, and have a good week.